My name is Travis Jerome Montgomery Wilson,
I am Karen Bowe.
Vincent Taylor.
and we are A.L.T. Frequency, where we all vibe together. Good evening, everyone. Let's get a thunder round of applause for this opening episode. Thank you. Welcome to our first episode of A.L.T. Frequency. I'm the host and curator of this episode. Keep it going, Tony.
I edited it. You
Keep going, okay. My name is Travis Jerome Montgomery Wilson, and I'm the co-creator of this podcast with my co-host,
Karen Bowe.
And Vincent Taylor.
We want to do something different in Shreveport with this podcast. That's why I have professionals here from different genres in the workplace. Karen is artistic. She's not artistic. I'm sorry about that. She's an artist extraordinaire, painter extraordinaire. Vincent is an IT genius, tech genius. And me personally, I'm a writer, author, retired professional bodyguard. And I'm also a children's book storyteller. I love writing children's books. I'm also a photographer. I have sold over 26,753 books within the last 2.5 years. Literature is what I want to bring to the forefront, especially for our young black male youth. They have no representation in the literary field. This field is also is very disparaging. That is one of the reasons why I decided I would do explicitly children's literature because of that reason. Because when you go to the store and everything, you don't see little black boys on the books or little black girls on the books a lot. And that is one of the reasons why I write for us, because they need representation. They need to feel like they belong when they go to the classroom, when they go to a bookstore or a library, and they don't see themselves. And I had a very big problem with that. Also, with the disparity of authors, black authors in America, out of 100% of authors in America, there's only 0.59% that are black authors. That is sad. And from that 5.9%, only 3.4 are black men. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And that is one of my motors that get me going, that gets me to producing literature is, to close this gap, and with this platform, we're going to help do that. We're going to put the children in the forefront. We're going to put education in the forefront, literature, art, and technology. That is why we decided to do this. And that's just a little bit of me. Next to me, Mrs. Karen Bowe, talk to me.
Hello. I'm a local artist. I've been in Shreveport almost 20 years. I've been a professional artist about 19 years. And I have pivoted a little bit. I still create, I'm a visual artist, but my passion has become trying to elevate new creatives. And I say creatives because not just artists, everyone who's trying to develop a professional presence as an artist. I operate several art support groups in town. One of them is the Nina Biscuit Artist Loft. And that's every third Tuesday. I call it an art support group for artists because artists really are out there on their own trying to figure it out. When I started, Google was my best friend, and I want to save people some of that work. So I operate Helping Artists Thrive to help elevate that.
All right. Well, thank you.
Come on,
Karen.
Vincent.
So people already know me in here for some reason.
Yeah.
I am a teacher turned techie, all for a good over a decade, and taught high school and middle school. And while teaching high school and middle school, I gained a passion for technology. So I was always infusing technology in the classroom. So I went back to school, got a degree in computer science, and then ended up moving to Seattle, which is kind of like the hub, or at least was the hub back then, of technology and started working again for a school district with data, and was very, very fortunate to work at Microsoft. And while working at Microsoft, I was approached with this opportunity to become a lead consultant on a project that the mayor was starting in Seattle, Washington. They had set aside between $6 and $7 million to start a youth violence prevention initiative, and they needed a person that knew organizations, nonprofit organizations, and also had a grasp on developing database and data systems. So I jumped, headfirst into that, and it was a great opportunity, and that kind of like opened up my view, and it opened up my will and desire to help organizations and people leverage technology, and now particularly AI, to gain efficiency and also save money and create residual income. So with this platform moving forward, I hope to, number one, help nonprofit organizations, and then number two, help the average person, which was me, with technology, being able to make more money and also become more efficient using AI. So I'm extremely excited to be part of this team, and I look forward to developing out a platform where we are able to deliver great content and have great audience, and also have great guests on here. So I am very excited, looking forward to what is to become of this platform. So thank you very much for both of you guys for having me.
All right, wow.
Like I said, it is very hard to find people to gel with. More so, it's very hard to find professional people to gel with. People with an honest will to do good for the community, to share their gifts with the public. And I've been grateful to find Karen and Vincent at this particular point in time right now. And I'm elated, I'm happy, I'm overjoyed about what we can do, what we can create with this. And the sky's the limit, and we stick to our platform, we stick to our truths and our beliefs, and and with good audience and everything else. That part. Well, moving right along, I would like to introduce you to our first guest of the podcast. Our very first guest. So please give a large, warm round of applause for Ms. Shaker Sims. All right, thank you for that warm round of applause for our guest, Shaker Sims. Welcome to the podcast, and thank you for being one of our first guests.
Awesome, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
I am from Shreveport, Louisiana, born and raised. I am a mother of 4 amazing children, author and entrepreneur.
Homegrown, that's a good thing. See, that's what I tell everybody. People be sleeping on Shreveport. Shreveport has a lot to offer. A lot to offer. But Shaker, I'm happy to have you. You visited me at my last event last year. I had the pleasure of meeting you and everything, and I'm glad I decided to keep in contact with you. And like I said, things come full circle. You don't realize it. Like now doing this podcast and you doing other things, as well, we're meeting at the right time.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. Tell us a little bit about your book, A Wife in Waiting.
So, A Wife in Waiting is actually a series. What you're holding in your hand is part 2. Is A Wife in Waiting Becoming Her. A Wife in Waiting is I guess, it's not what you think it is what I'm trying to say. It's not about becoming a wife per se. It's about becoming the woman that you were predestined to be. I know now it's a trend that I see a lot where women are kind of centering themselves around marriage. And it's very important that we understand the seasons that we're in. Not saying that wanting marriage is a bad thing, but you have to know if that's what's predestined for you, right? So in this book, it talks about just being a great woman, walking in your purpose, being everything that you can be, being a good woman for yourself before seeking a spouse or husband or a life partner.
Or validation.
Yes, or validation, correct. Correct.
Now, there's a part in chapter 2, that I love. It's hit me when I read it. A waiting season is not a wasted season. Expound on that for me, please.
Well, when we think about waiting, it's kind of like waiting on our hands, right? Just sitting still. We think nothing is happening, but actually everything is happening in that waiting season. You're learning who you are. You're learning your purpose, your calling. You're learning hopefully discernment. You're learning to vet people, whether it's a spouse, friends, family, things like that. So it's not just you sitting and waiting for things to happen for you. You're being active, and that's the trick. You're being active while you're waiting.
And active, but yet you're being proactive.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Getting to know your do's, your don'ts, being patient with yourself, learning about who you are. And that's a series of that's a part 2 of Wife in Waiting. And the Wife in Waiting, the series 1, it talks about what it means to wait. And again, it's not about just sitting on your hands. It's about pursuing your purpose, pursuing your dreams, all of your goals. Because sometimes relationships, love, and all that kind of stuff kind of put a halt to that because you're so focused on the other person or you want to please the other person that sometimes we get lost in the relationship.
Okay.
And that even goes for like motherhood. I'm a mother of 4, and sometimes, and in the past, I've lost my identity to being a mom. I lost my passion for dance or music, or I just didn't have time. So as my children are getting older, I'm finding myself again, right? And so I'm being active in my waiting. I've been married before. I've been engaged twice. And so I've learned a lot in those experiences. And I'm just so grateful that I knew who I was, that I didn't have to settle for something that I knew I didn't want because I've been waiting a while.
And please, expound on it.
Oh, I just find it riveting. I think a lot of women, like you said, they get caught up in marriage as the goal. When marriage should not be the goal.
Right.
It should be being your most authentic self.
Right.
And I think that's very interesting.
And I think it's because of the Bible Belt. I love God. I am a woman through my book. However, God also wants us to use our brain. He wants us to use wisdom. And in church, they teach us how to be a good wife. They show us all the things that a wife is supposed to do. We're supposed to act this way. We're supposed to behave this way. But God gave us all purpose.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't just to be, in Lauren Hill's voice, a silly man's wife.
Come on.
Right? And so I think sometimes we do get lost in that identity and we forget who we are and who we were called to be as women alone, not a wife or a mother.
Yeah.
I know, my question is around being an author, a businesswoman, and a mom. How do you juggle all of these effectively?
I don't.
I know you got a secret.
I don't. Honestly, for me, I time block. I prioritize what's most important. If the children are just being children, being needy, you don't need me right now for real. Especially my adult children. I have a 25-year-old, a 23-year-old, and a 19-year-old, and a 15-year-old. So I prioritize their needs. Because they are older. That doesn't mean they don't need me, because they do. Lord knows they do. But if I feel like it's something that they can handle on their own, a quick inspiration, motivation, maybe some instructions, and I go on about my business. So I don't juggle it. I find balance. Because when you think about juggling, you like want to put up this is, I plant my feet. Yeah, I plant my feet. And I prioritize what's most important, what can wait, and what I can do later.
Yeah. I think that's that question because a lot of individuals say, I just don't have time. I can't be a business person. I got a family.
Yeah.
So, what made you just leap? Well, I'm not gonna say leap out on faith, but I'm sure you had a formula. You probably sat back and said, okay, wait a minute. How am I gonna pursue this? Or was it just like, you woke up and just say, I'm just gonna masturbate?
Well, I was a mom at 15 and a half years old. And so a lot of my life was dedicated to my children. So everything that I did that was good, it was for them. And so I knew at 2021 that I wanted to build a legacy for them. Right? And so I knew I couldn't do that fully on just a 9 to 5. Now, people do it, you know, but I have an entrepreneur spirit. For one, I don't like people telling me what to do. Over the years, I've learned that that's just the way of the world, right? I don't care how old you are, or if you own your own business, the government is telling you gotta pay taxes. So somebody is always telling you what to do. But for me, I didn't really care for the American dream, if that makes sense. It was already out of order when I had a kid at 15. You know what I mean? You know, based off that American dream. So for me, it was like leaving a legacy. So I did that with my literature. I did that with going to college, obtaining 4 to 5 degrees. That's not normal in my family. I did that by opening a business, something that I can leave, and also educate my children. If that's something that they decide to do, I don't force that on them, but well, fortunately, they picked that part of me up. So I think for me, it was just faith, ambition, and just wanting to leave something. The Bible says that a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children's children. And so that's my plan.
Okay, one final question. What got you on the road to writing your first book? What was the point that you like, okay, something's not working, something's out of order, I need to do this?
Much like you, I didn't see myself as an author. It was really God-led. I had gone through a divorce. I had been single for, 7 years. And then there's the pressure of peers and family. When you gonna get married? You giving up on marriage? Da, 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 da. So my first book was Dear Future Husband, after being divorced. Then I wanted to do it God's way, meaning I wanted to do it right. Sometimes we put ourselves in relationships that's not equally yoked. And I felt like a kid begging God for something. You know how you ask your mom for a toy or something and she's like, no, and then she finally gives it to you and you eventually break it or something happens. You don't appreciate it. So that's where that came from. I was so young when I married. I was 18 years old, divorced 7 years later. When I wrote my very first book, it was just me just trying to figure me out if I even really wanted to be married. Like just all of the things. And that book that I created was kind of like a journal for me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure having you. Sip House Cafe, you didn't give enough.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So Sip House is not my first coffee shop.
No, it's not.
Many of you know me.
Come on with it. Come on, yeah.
Okay, I see some of my customers.
By Gio, Green Oaks, in the corner.
So
In the hood,
I initially opened Neve's Coffee, meaning cousin in Nigerian.
Okay.
I had that coffee shop for about 2 years. I've always had a passion for serving. I didn't know what that would look like, so I found that passion in serving coffee. Coffee brings people together, and I love my community. No matter what they say on my street corner, I love y'all. And so I use that as a way to bring people together, whether it's art, whether it's literature, whether it's just gatherings. Like you come to my coffee shop and I'm always doing something for the community. Just loving on them, and then I get the love back in return. So coffee is one of those things that bring people together.
Excellent, I agree, and I love my double espresso.
I'm about to say my personal endorsement is the lavender.
Oh, yeah.
The lavender vanilla.
Ms. Shanker Sims, thank you so much for coming. Next up, another special guest.
My guest is one of my peers, Yolanda Barnes. Well, tell us about yourself first, and then you can tell your character story.
Well, I'm a native of Chicago Heights, Illinois. That's where I was born. I actually moved to Shreveport 10 years ago. The Lord told me to move here. I love it here. I don't care what anybody says. This is like, I can't even explain it. I like the way it smells. I love the people, everything about Shreveport. But yeah, so I kind of had evolution of things in my life. I was married for 36 years, had to get divorced. So then I was told to move, and I moved. And the Lord provided everything, a home, everything. I worked for A.T. for 20 years, and then I retired. So I was a corporate jet setting in the Philippines, all over the world. And then they pulled the okie doke on me. And after I went and trained a lot of people in Eastern Europe, I couldn't get on conference calls no more. So then 20 years to the day, that's how I knew it was God. That they said, we regret to inform you. I'm like, okay, all right. You know, I just bust out laughing actually. And then I was like, all right. But then I came here and you were the first Black female artist that I met. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't start painting until about 2 years before I moved here 10 years ago. And on Facebook, I saw you. And a friend of mine on the dare said if I didn't hook up with someone local in the art world, that he was gonna call, and he lived in Maryland. So I'm like, okay, all right. And I saw you at an event, I bought a piece of your art. And you've always been warm, you've always been open, and so, yep, that's my Karen story.
Okay, well, so I have a either or. When you get ready to create, do you plan it out or figure it out?
So I'll say it like this. So creating is a process. So I never create anything that has not already been thought out maybe 2 or 3 years in advance. And so what I mean by that is that I believe that you have to be a good steward of what I call muse. So muse is the abbreviation for music, amusement, musician. Without muse, we wouldn't have this studio, we wouldn't have anything. And I believe that muse speaks to all of us, but just that you have to listen. Which means you need a tablet next to your bed, which means you need to keep memos on your phone. I get up, I sing all these songs on the phone. Y'all, you wanna know what they sound like. But I hear them, so I sing them. And then I have journals, I have stacks and stacks of journals.
Okay.
So by the time I manifest something or draw it or paint it, I probably have gone through a stack and then I've looked at it and go, it just jumps out at me. And then I'm like, okay, it's time for that. It's time for that.
Fascinating. I fly by the seat of my pants.
Sometimes it's spontaneous, but most of the time it's not. Because I guess I don't trust myself enough
Okay.
to rely on that. So, yeah.
Okay, so then that kind of leads into my question. So walk us through your process, kind of like you talked about already. So what's going to spark that you know, that new thought that says, okay, it's time now. You know, I did this prep work, I sang those songs, and now I'm looking at the canvas. Now I'm gonna pull up and kind of what's your process and how do you stay inspired?
That's hard to stay inspired.
Yeah.
Let me touch on inspired and I'll try to get the first one. So anything inspires me, but what I had to learn was to recognize what that looked like. So like I could see anything, colors, I can be watching something, all of a sudden I have a flash. And then I learned to understand that what that flash of inspiration was, it was a seed for something.
Yeah.
And so what I started doing was paying attention to that. Like it could be anything. I could be on Facebook and I'll see a combination of colors. I'm like, oh, okay, screenshot. I got so many screenshots.
Oh, girl, me too.
And so that's kind of whatever inspires me. I don't limit myself. I just go ahead and go with it because those are all seeds that are going to actually come out to be something I've learned.
Right.
And not be discouraged because there's so many. When you're creative, it can be overwhelming.
Yes.
And you got creativity coming out of everywhere. And you can get discouraged because if it's overwhelming, I want to sing, I want to dance, I want to write, and it's all coming out. And so, but you don't get discouraged. Just know that's the process of being a creative. It's kind of crazy. You feel kind of weird, and that's what creatives are, we're different.
Right.
So, but you asked something else, what was the number?
Well, I would like to, walk us through, like, you already did your prep work.
Gotcha.
Today, you're gonna pull that canvas out.
Right.
Walk us through how you actually, because some artists are like, look at that canvas for days,
That's
weeks,
me.
scared to put that first stroke of paint on there. So what is that like for you?
It goes back and forth. So sometimes I'll be walking through the house and I just know it's time for me to, or either I'll go through a stack of drawings. Like I have a drawing right now that's in my kitchen. I look at it every day, but it's not time for that to, I call it coming to the earth. It's not time for that to manifest yet. Or the process for it isn't time yet. So I won't touch that. And so I just go by, I may just walking through the house, I'm like, I think I need to paint that. And sometimes it's really strong. I'm like, no, I gotta really create that like as soon as possible.
So I understand. I
Yeah.
understand every bit of that. So you're deeply rooted in the arts community. Like you said, you love everything about it. You jumped right in. You're gonna be at just about all the events you can. Whatever I've called you, you'll never say no. So how much of that is actually, how much influence does Shreveport-Bossier community affect how you produce your work?
Right.
Or when you produce your work?
I don't think that people know what you have here. I've been in places that it's absolute drought. I'm talking about dry. It's so dry. It's so dry that if you try to get up, the only people around you are gonna be pulling you down. Okay? And so this was my promised land. Okay, and for me, this place had so much to offer.
Yeah.
So many opportunities. And it still does. It's just how you look at things.
True.
And so that's one reason why I kind of stay to myself, because I don't listen to every voice that speaks into my life. And so I don't receive everything that's spoken, because I'm guided by what God tells me and what the Spirit tells me on the inside. So, but I thought about something when I first came here. I just knew I was supposed to paint. That's all I knew. And I got down here at the farmer's market, didn't have a tent, nothing. I mean, I was a piece of bacon out there. I still have a picture. I had three. I called myself Nammy's Creations, which I scrapped that. That's my dad. My dad called me Nammy, and I was like, I gotta scratch that. That was something too cool. So then, but I was just out there on the pavement. I mean, burning up. And so what I did was I learned. So even if I go somewhere, I never say no, because I can always learn. Even if I don't sell anything, I learn from what's going on. I watch people. I watch how people respond.
Yeah.
I watch everything. That's how I learned, oh, that didn't work, so I won't sell that anymore. You know, let me see what everybody else is doing. So I learned, one of the first thing I learned was I need a tent. So, the first thing I did was invested in a tent, because I was out there in Bossier, the Bossier Mall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
You
know.
out there.
With nobody around nothing. But I learned.
Bitch, please. Yolanda said something that really interests me. You were saying that as an artist, as you go through your day, you'll see something and then it'll spark. And then when it sparks, you better pay attention. And I guess my question is, how do you weed out? Like for me, I mean, I open the door, I look at my grass, I'm like, oh wow, my grass is green. So how are you weeding out? I mean, I would be sparked, I would get nothing done as an artist. So how are you weeding out what you really need to act on and what you don't need to act on? And then what you need to like put on hold or in reserve?
Well, that's a good question. I would say recently, what I started doing was, if you came into my environment, you would think, I ain't wrapped too tight, but I am, but just in my way.
You're not wrapped too
I have a way of manifesting. I have paper everywhere of what I want. So what I had to do was put the big rocks in the jar first. So I had to create a vision of what I wanted, and then I have journals. I pull from the vision, and as things come to me from the vision, that's how I proceed. And so I have like requests before God and things I want to see, but I don't do anything unless I see it first. And so in my office, it's plastered with writing of what I want what I'm requesting. And then as I get my answers, I just cross them off and cross them off. And then I have a daily journal. What I did was this year, I have a journal for my finances, because I was getting kind of raggedy there, and I'm just, so I'm like, okay. So I was led to create a journal for that. And then also I have a journal every day that tells me that I'm making inroads to what it is, in large plan.
Okay,
Wow.
I have a question. It's an opposite question. You get the top. When does a vision kick in?
Vision comes before the thought.
For me, it's a thought. It's a thought process. So when does yours come in?
I see it before I think about it. I see it. So what I had to learn was that we're all gifted with vision. So we're all creative. And that, everybody. And so you teach people how to paint, and you'll notice that someone will come in there and say, I can't draw a straight line. And by the end of it, they're doing something, they're surprised themselves. So for me, I have to see it before I think it through.
Okay.
And then sometimes I'll sit in front of a painting and I'll just be staring at it for a while,
Does that carry in with your singing as well? That's not,
Yeah.
all three of the same process?
Yeah, so I get songs almost every day. And I would sing like a frog. So my phone has hundreds of memos. And with the singing process, years and years ago, I was told that I would have, that my songs would be heard all over the world. And I'm like, well, when is that gonna happen? So that's but the visions be long. And so I'm like, okay. So then when I got here, a few years ago, I wrote a song for my church, and they picked it up and we recorded it. And literally, I have people listening to that song from all over the world.
Come on, now.
So, I have a sign in my kitchen that says, trust your crazy ideas. And so that means no matter how big it is, no matter how crazy it is, how absurd it may be, it came to you. It didn't come to anybody else. So if it came to you, that means that it's your vision. Whether it's a business, a company, whatever it is, how absurd it may be, that you trust that because God wants to use you to bring that thing into the earth realm. So,
Exactly. Karen,
My last question. So you were, you exhibited in blue at W.R. Norton, which is tough to get in. Some people apply year after year and don't get in. I applied this year, I didn't get in, but it's okay. So what's next for you? Because that's a superb accomplishment.
So what I found out is what next can get you in trouble. And what I mean is that, this is what I'm learning, is that when you have a pinnacle moment, that you don't take that moment and think, well, this is it. I'm on the mountaintop right now.
All right.
Can't go no higher, because normally a mountaintop experience is accompanied with a valley experience.
Okay.
So I just, after that happened, I became kind of paralyzed, which is kind of weird, because I'm like, can I meet that expectation? Because I didn't expect that to happen, in the first place, and
Imposter syndrome.
yeah. So I was like, what are they talking about? And then the owner bought the painting. I was like, you talking to me? What? You want to buy what? And then when I didn't know that I had placed any type of honorable mention for the painting. I didn't have my glasses on, so I'm standing in front of the painting. And the lady said, well, congratulations. I said, well, thank you. I'm glad to be here too. And so she kind of walked away. I said, why is she looking at me like that? I put my glasses on. I had an honorable mention. I said, Lord, thank you. So they actually bought it, that was a big boost for me. I needed that. And so it just, I was very humbled by that. As far as the next big thing, I don't know. I just know that I let that throw me into a valley for a minute, but now I'm climbing back out there.
Well, tell everyone what you got going on and how they can find you.
Okay, yeah. So I was furloughed off my job. I worked for, I don't tell you, I work for a tech company. So I actually I have a 9 to 5 and, but I have like 4 or 5 jobs. But, in the interim, when that happened, I created, a couple of things. I got off of my old manuscripts and wrote, a couple of books. One book is called Suddenly Single Survival Guide. I was married for 36 years and had to go through a divorce unexpectedly. And so I was a pastor's wife and I didn't have anybody that wanted to step up and help me. Religious folks got real funny. And so, they do. Yeah. So I wrote that book because not about what happened, that's next, but about the process of having to go through that divorce and for anyone that needed to survive that process because I didn't have a support system. And then I republished another book with my story, his story. It's just a Christian devotional of when I was growing up in Chicago Heights, Illinois, and how compared it to what God can do for you. So,
How can they find you?
Amazon.com, where my books are, Y__ the artist, Yolanda Barnes, on Instagram, and then Yolanda Barnes Art on Facebook.
My last comment, she makes these fabulous mugs, that's what I got. For one of her
As well.
Okay.
It's actually a good story. So this is like a couple years. Well, it was maybe a year or so after I moved back, and I was doing my music, and I was at a local festival here. Let's say the Rebel, one of the, it was downtown. And I was like, man, I need to recruit people to come to my events. I got to find some people. So I came by your booth.
Yeah.
And we talked
You
briefly.
didn't buy anything.
I didn't. I did get your card. And I followed up and I sent an invite to an event. And I mean, I'm telling you right now, Yolanda, she walked the walk and talked the talk. I mean, she supported from beginning to when we stopped. So I'm gonna say, I mean, Shreveport, she meant what she said when she said she loved Shreveport and she enjoyed being here. So I took that and I'm like, I need to come buy something right now.
Let's give it up, our guest.
All right, our next guest, very special guest here, and very timely, I should say. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but what month is this here?
May 1st.
It is May.
Yeah, my birth month, thank you. I'm sorry.
You probably didn't know this, but this is Mental Health Awareness Month as well. Yes, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And also, considering what we've been going through here in Shreveport and also down in Baton Rouge as well, and probably, across the country, mental health right now is kind of like at the top of our thought and consideration right now. So LaDonna Welch is an owner, business owner, and she's also an app creator. So she's the creator of Ebony Notes. And Ebony Notes, matter of fact, I'm not even gonna dive down into Ebony Notes. I'm gonna let LaDonna explain what it is, because I'll tell you right now, we had a meeting a couple of days ago and I almost had to low crawl out because it was like, well, what is the app? You tell us right now. And I was like, okay, so the pressure was on me at that point in time. So I really needed you to back me up at that point in time. But so we're happy you're here today. Thank you for coming. Let's start off. What I want to do, because I found very interesting that you told me that Ebony Notes was not your first idea. So that wasn't your first idea. So let's back up and kind of tell us what your first idea was, and then walk us through the process of how you got to Ebony Notes and created it and published it.
Okay, well, it's a long story. The long story short, it's not just kidding. But I am an educator. Forever learner, all the different things. I taught for 18 years. And
What grade you took?
well, I spent the majority of my time in middle school math. graduated 7th grade, but I've taught tech classes and coding classes to high school students, as well as coding and robotics to elementary students and middle school students.
Wow. I must say this here, I mean, I've been in tech 2 decades. I know as we roll back closer to the 90s, it was almost a male-dominated field. But I think there's some inroads though, right? When you say there are more women going into tech?
Yes, there are more women going into tech. So, just to say, I started in education. My business actually started as a black teacher shirt brand. That's where I started. I started Black. My first shirt was Black Teacher Magic, and it was everywhere. And then it kicked up, and you know how they pulled it from like overseas, and they like replicated it, and now it's like easy to find $5. So that's where I started. And I'm from Arkansas. My husband was in the military spouse. My first base was here in at Barksdale, so I was in this area. And when I moved to Colorado, I found out that through, I guess I was going through seasonal depression. I learned that that's a thing, seasonal depression, which is really prominent with Black women, because we changed the schedule to talk about that too. But during that time, like we talked about things she dug deep, and I found out that I went through postpartum depression and wasn't even told that, but the doctor knew that. Okay, well, let me get out connected.
We waited.
So, my teacher brand turned into like a journaling thing. So I was doing like planners and journals for teachers. And my first app idea I wanted to do was connected to journaling. Because I found solace in that. I was working with a therapist for the first time. Trying to get out of that, what happens in this house stays in this house, you can't talk and all these things. You a strong Black woman and all of that, and you know, all the things that we have to deal with. Yes, all the things we have to deal with. And working with a therapist, I learned that words of affirmation, along with that journaling, kind of picked me up. And I was already using a journaling app. And I had started using an affirmations app, but that affirmations app did not speak to me. It didn't sound like me coming like, okay, shoes. Okay, new hair. You got this. So it didn't speak to me the way I needed to be spoken to. And that's when Ebony Notes was born. So I went from Miss Wells Creates to Ebony Notes, and everything about Ebony Notes is intentional because a lot of people call me Ebony. I've been interviewed and all different things. It's like, okay, Miss Ebony, I'm like, well, actually, put down but people don't know that Ebony Notes is notes from my people. Ebony is a rich, dark brown color, and I chose Ebony Notes because these are notes to my people. I pivoted a little bit and I focused on Black women, and I wanted to trickle down, but Ebony Notes started where I wanted to capture and support the entire community, which I still will, because, you know, women run the world and make all the decisions. And they gonna tell their brother, husband, and all the people to download Ebony Notes and use the tools that I have. But Ebony Notes is much more than an app. Ebony Notes is an entire ecosystem of experiences and resources to support Black women on their road to healing. Ebony Notes for teens, which is the same premise, affirmations app, but I want to speak to them. I want to speak their language in Ebony Notes
for kids. And then the kids app, I just want to have like little affirmation songs where they can get up while they're brushing their teeth, hearing those positive affirmations, maybe some coloring pages that, the digital coloring that they can do within the app. Maybe it's connected to a website where they can print off some sheets and work with it. That the app is basically going along with the series of books that I have. So I have Ebony Notes for Black women. I would like to have Ebony Notes for Black men.
Absolutely.
Ebony
Don't
Notes
leave us
for
out.
teens.
I was waiting for that one.
We need you. We need you.
And I just want to just dig deep. Ebony Notes for, I don't know, pregnant moms. Ebony Notes for, single fathers. Ebony Notes. I want to keep it going, and like the app is going to move in that same direction, because starting from the top down, I want to start with the women who count as the backbone of the community and many families, because then they're able to introduce the people in their lives, their kids and their husbands and their brothers and their fathers, to what Ebony Notes have to offer, because we know men are stubborn and they don't really take care of themselves the way they need to.
She looked at me when she said
No,
that.
I don't know. So don't look my way, because I take care of myself.
So you need some of you, not all of you, but some of you need a woman to kind of nudge and be like,
Absolutely.
for your mental health, check out.
I concur with
Ebony
that. I
Notes.
concur with that. I
do
concur
too.
with that. Is it a safe assumption to say that you're getting more out of this app than you initially thought when you started?
Yes, absolutely. Every single time I see a message and someone's giving me their testimony, I really did not know that it was going to reach as far as it has reached, and I did not know the impact that it will have. One of the reviews that stand out to me the most, I think the first review that I got in the Apple App Store, a woman was going through IVF, and she said that they didn't feel like that it was going to be worth it because it had been going through it so long and it hadn't gotten pregnant and all different things. And she says that Ebony Notes kept her going. Like she said, she was reading those positive messages about all of her magic and all the different things. And she was reading the messages for moms, because maybe she was manifesting that this is me, I am going to be a mom. And it's in there, and I had to go find her. And I think her baby is maybe 3 this year. So I'm just proud that, that's just one of the many stories from just the app reviews that I've received. And another woman, she's mixed, and she said that she never felt like, she didn't know where she belonged. And she said that the Ebony Notes helped her find her identity.
That's wonderful.
What? I'm like,
That's
how?
wonderful.
Well, that is worth of a hand
Yeah,
clap.
it is. Yeah. We have a technologist with a heart here.
Good.
Absolutely. Tech with heart.
How could they get the app?
So the app is right now only available on Apple devices.
What?
I'm sorry. Now the
me.
first time I met you, it was on Android. And the crazy part is, if a person have downloaded it on Android, I believe they can still
still
open
have
it.
it.
And send.
Well, explain what
That's
happened.
where I need that support. So
we own it.
I'm a solopreneur.
Yeah.
I'm a military spouse, so husband. I have 2 kids. I work. I was teaching at the time, and it was just too hard to keep up with all the different things.
Yep.
And keep in mind, I taught kids how to code and all the different things, but I needed help to build an app. I'm just gonna say that.
Yep.
I needed professional help to build an app. So there are some things that have fallen by the wayside. I know with the Android, I missed some type of deadline, and if I just had someone to kind of point me in the right direction, I could probably go check some boxes and get me back online Android, because I went through all of the approvals on the front end.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what this platform. This is
why we do this. This is why we do this. This is
My
why we
plate
do this.
runneth over. I just need help.
We got
And
you.
there's
I
nothing
need
wrong
help.
with admitting help, that you need help. That's a
Correct.
hard thing. That's a hard thing for women to do. It's a hard thing for Black people. It's a hard thing for everyone to just say, I need help.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Mental Health Awareness Month. Where are you going to be for the rest of the month? I know you probably have a list of places?
I do
Oh.
all types of
Drop
things.
'em
So I'm excited that it's Mental Health Awareness Month, but I'm around every month. So the third Wednesday of every month, I'm at On Cloud Wine Winery. I do wine and wellness Wednesdays, and we do wellness and self-care activities. We kicked it off in April, so we'll be coming back. I think it's March 20th, if that's a Wednesday. May 20th, sorry, if that is a Wednesday. I'll be at Sip House on the 30th. We're going to be doing we're going to intentionally add self-care into our calendar.
Okay.
And with some special mimosas. So it's mimosas and planning at Sip House.
Okay.
With Miss Shika. And then where else am I? Oh, I am going to be at Sweat with Jess at the Jungle Gym on Texas. I think it's 1110 Texas Street. And we're doing Move Your Body, Reset Your Mind. So she does a dance workout class. So we're gonna sweat a little bit, and then y'all are going to do a reset and a reflection with Ebony Notes with me.
All right.
And that is May 30th. So May 30th, Sweat with Jess. May 31st, Sip House. May 20th, On Cloud Winery.
Well, we're so happy that you kicked it off with us on May 1st.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
And then I just want to say that I'm online. I talk back. So if y'all talk to me, I'm going to talk back. I'm everywhere online. It's ebonynotes.co on Instagram and Facebook, and ebonynotes.app on TikTok.
All right.
Great.
Put a big round of applause, everybody, for Miss LaDonna Welch. Thank you so much. Benson has special news for our recording artist who's here. We're going to be winding this down. We just want to say thank you to all our guests. And more important, I want to thank my co-host. This is going to be a great podcast. I think we're going to be vibing seriously together, as the motto, the slogan says. We vibe together.
Yes, sir.
All right. To our audience, thank you so much for being patient with us, hanging out with us. We got food, we got everything. All right.
You got to stick around.
Let's stick around.